I think I got him pissed.
Just got off. Just like a type of security guard. If it's his first day, maybe.
He got off the bus. I didn't even know there was a bus stop right here. And he seems to be confused. But he was trying to determine, because it looked like he was trying to see if I was going to get on the bus. Because some lady was in front of me and she started running to catch the bus when he was getting off. And there was another guy. There's like this. They're homeless. You could tell they're homeless. I mean, it's not rocket science. But dressed like a security guard that got on the train where I was sitting. And I sat in a way that positioned myself where technically nobody could sit next to me. Unless you wanted to put both of us in an uncomfortable situation. And, you know, tension is real. So, when the guy got on the bus, he came towards, it's a very limited space too. You don't, it's like, I got on, so what happened was there's 3 seats on the train. And 2 seats are double and 1 is single. They're in the corner. Now, in the corner, there was a homeless person with a bag, and their bike was propped up so that they, the handle was basically in the seat, the other double seat. No, those are both facing the same direction, like say backwards or forward. Okay, and then the individual seat is sideways. And actually, the only reason I got off on this stop, this is to show how reactionary they are there. I was fucking around, look at, now he's trying to hide and go in the opposite direction. And you can see he's hiding intentionally. So I just want to catch, oh, what is this? Front window tinted too. Oh, they got pissed off at me today. So, just saying I got proof. So here we go, right. Now he's hiding, he got off on that one bus, and now he's trying to act like he's just getting back on the bus. So, which is fine, that's fine. Like I said, you got to play the game, and if you're in a fight, you better be ready to be for and counter aggression. Shit, that's the way it goes. And or damage. You know, Mike Tyson has this thing that he says he doesn't like being around people. He doesn't want to train with somebody that thinks like taking pain is a way of proving that they're tough, because that kind of person is reckless, and that means that they're treat their training partners reckless too. But on that note, that doesn't mean, because we're talking about Mike Tyson, so that doesn't mean when you go into a fight, you're supposed to go in with the attitude that nothing's going to happen to you and you're going to be untouched. Any time that he went in a situation, he fought with the audacity that he recognized the threat and trained to ensure that he was at his maximum level. And when he didn't, he got Riddick Bowe. So, and I still actually believe that Mike Tyson's version of the Holyfield thing, and that Holyfield was headbutting him. But on a side note, I also adopted from Holyfield that's a really ingenious technique. So why wouldn't you use that in a street situation where everybody's always they're trying to put their chin back and shit like that? But all you gotta do is come in like a freaking tank, straight shots, because everybody's swinging around, leverage, arms at they call it a high guard, and the most likely, because even when they're swinging in most street fights, this is not 100%, because you might fight somebody who knows how to fight, but in most street fights, when they do their wheel swinging, they're not doing hooks, they're just doing like they're throwing filleting their arms in the hope of like using it as like a mace, like their fist is on the end of a chain. So a high guard in that situation, and you could tell the person immediately if you're in this situation. It doesn't take long to process information in a fight. They're swinging because they want to do, they believe volume is like it's another form of posturing and bigger, because especially in the black community and Catholics. So this is why cholos are a lot of like this too. They think that volume, which is another dimension of big, is domination, because in their households, the way that they're typically run are that children are seen as slaves without any rights, and the parents reiterate that repeatedly in order to assert the authority that they don't realize they're seeking in the home environment, that they don't get in the what they consider the social environment, or especially in the job. And that's why the word job is job. Job comes from the biblical story of Job, and once you make that connection, it'll change your entire perspective of the world. But all that to say, apparently I'm a hot fucking item again, because this hasn't been this spicy. I had one this morning right outside, and this is gonna be another video that has nothing to do with this one, but I was making a video about Armenian organized crime, and then I had one. I walk a specific route to work. Well, not specific. To the bus. I walk a gang of different ways, but the last few times, and I only work 3 days a week. So the last, like, I guess 2 weeks, which was only like 6 days, maybe 8 days, I've pretty much done the same route. And even when I alter the route, I've been doing, it's like you could look at my route as having 3 components. My first component has been the same route. Well, actually, no, yesterday was a little variation, because I wanted to go to the front of the routes, but that's how it turned into with my yesterday video. That I just did a little deviation, and then something came to my attention, because I wanted to go to the routes to get a hand sanitizer from the front cart thing, but it was 4:30 in the morning, so they were closed. So I knew that I just go to the front, swoop by, grab a hand sanitizer, and stay in motion to my work route. And then I get to this secondary part of my walk, and that part has been consistent all of those days, maybe even 10 days, maybe even 12 days, or maybe even maybe even 12 days. So, but this morning, while I was making a video, and I was about to cross the street and do my normal pattern, and it's at a bookstore and a gym at a Burbank by this mattress place. And I've been crossing the street and walking alongside the movie theater, which has a gate. And I do that intentionally because it's a close quarter, and I'm like, I want to, because I anticipate at some point something. So my thing is, if I'm walking on this side and there is something, somebody that I consider to be agent of this institutional criminal network, we will be at close proximity. So it'll be, ain't nowhere to hide, nowhere to run, motherfucker. If we're gonna do a fucking stare down, or you're gonna do some fucking mumbling fucking shit, it's gonna be close quarters immediately. So, but today I was about to cross the street, and something inside of me realized that I'm relying on that closed area too much, and that's creating a pattern that is predictable, which would make it, this is sociopathic thinking, people. I'm not denying it. This is 100% sociopathic thinking. That's if they were making a type of psych profile, and this is a multi-billion-dollar, so they have the same means to buy data points as any legitimate corporation. So just like the Cambridge Analytica, the Armenian faction of the Russian mob that I'm trying to expose is tied directly to MAGA and totally controlling the Armenian mafia, not MAGA. MAGA thinks they're in control because that's the way organized crime works, but this foreign enemy agency is in control. And they buddy up to MAGA and say, no, that's fool. We're MAGA too. He's fucking bullshit. Plus MAGA has, actually the weird thing is with the rise of this Epstein shit, hoax. Now they're calling it the hoax, which is funny if you look at I did a little video too because I was typing Epstein, and I've been writing Epstein files, Alphabet Inc. Oh no, this is a Samsung phone. Holy shit. Samsung changed their thing, so it doesn't give me what I normally write. I've never written hoax. I don't think I've ever, if I've written that word at all, even by my hand or used it in my verbiage, my vernacular, it has been years. So rather than, I even pressed space, it came up with a suggestion, and I dismissed it at first because I wasn't paying attention. I was just being ADD. And I press F, I press I, and I'm tripping because I normally just, I have I'm an old guy, if you want to call me. I guess I'm technically old fuddy-duddy. So texting is a pain in the ass for me now. And I was getting it wrong. And then autocorrect always spells something I don't want to fucking spell. So I normally just like go to. So I was confused because I was like, wait, something threw me off. I was like, well, how come I'm not getting files? I gotta type this whole shit. And then that made me actually look at the word that they were substituting. And this is just within a day, okay? So this happened this morning or yesterday. I don't know when I put the video up. It might have been this morning. They swapped it out with hoax. So even when I put F-I-L, it still had hoax. Maybe just F-I. But whatever it is, I put a video, it's a 17-second video, and posted it on YouTube just to show. But I blamed Alphabet Inc. And I gotta actually apologize to Alphabet Inc. because I misrepresented the technology. Samsung, I got a piece of shit Samsung fucking phone, which I regret. And you talk about stupidity. This is my newest Samsung phone. I had a Samsung before that I didn't like for various reasons, specifically the text-to-speech that doesn't do punctuation and quotations, and then literally just eliminates periods. You can't even say period or it'll spell it. And then text-to-speech sucked, and the autocorrect, that's what I meant. The autocorrect was just a fucking pain in the ass. Because there were words, sometimes if I put I, like I'm writing, I want to do something, this fucking piece of shit will put in a word like, I don't even know, and it's not even a word that I recognize that I recently used. So I'm like, what the hell is this piece? And I won't catch that. So, but this is the good part about it though, is another thing, going back to fighting, is anytime you attack your opponent, you leave yourself vulnerable. This is a principle, eternal principle of combat. So when they do this type of shit, which is a Silicon Valley method of frustrating in order for control, because sometimes baiting you isn't always the way. Just creating frustration can be very effective for deterring people from pursuing the next step. So what I initially went through frustration repeatedly with my first Samsung. Then when I got this one, I thought, my stupid ass thought that like it would be improved or something like that. So it wasn't. And when I experienced the frustration again, I started to see that the shit that I was posting and the typing was being autocorrected to completely just destroy my points that I was trying to make. So the reverse part of that was, as much as I still hate Samsung, now I have to reread everything, but that's giving me, it's giving me I got ADHD, so it's giving me something that on my own impulse and of my own inkling, my own motivation, my own inner drives, I would not have the fortitude or energy, psychological energy, to engage in such a, what I consider tedious, pointless. It's like my brain is like, yeah, you already said it, or you already wrote it. Well, fucking it's over. Leave it as is. Chance be chance. But seeing it as a combat situation, I'm not saying it is, but I take it as a combat situation. We'll put it like that. I project it as a combat situation. Gives me a newfound vitality that motivates me to read the shit that I write and now do even more edits. So if I correct punctuation, I correct capitalization, spacing, hyphenization. So it's actually made me, in one sense, a better writer. It's not that I don't make mistakes. It's just that I have to correct. It's like I don't have a choice. So, but whatever it is that I got going, the cool thing is that the level of aggression, which is posturing, shows what I consider to be a flinch. So just like in a little kid thing, if you flinch, you get punched. So this one of the security guy, he gets on, and I'm sitting in this seat, and he looks at the empty seat. He sees the bike thing right there. So that's what I mean. He's gotta go like this between me sitting right there and the bike handle to get on the seat. And at the same time, he's trying to project as this security guard. Like, it's not really a security guard. They try to do homeless like combat gear in order to project military discipline or anything that they're not, okay? So, but they can't get rid of the grime that reveals. Now, don't get me wrong, there could be cover, but the only time I think I actually caught a high level, like professional, military, probably grade Armenian hitman in Burbank was one time when I came from the library. I went to a bus stop, and at the bus stop there was this disheveled person that was doing something. I forgot what it was, but that got me to take out my video camera, because I do it too just in case there's a confrontation. Because of my stature and demeanor, certain people, I know that there's a type of missile. They call them like a missile. It's like a suicide bomb, like a suicide bomber, but somebody that just wants to go engage a conflict because they want to use the image, the character of that person to try to project it as bullying or the reverse assault. Like why would this person attack somebody like you? So I try to cover my ass with video. So this was one of those particular cases where I felt a type of unstable aggression that I couldn't identify, but I recognized that unchecked, that this guy could pose a physical confrontational threat. And if I wanted to be able to maximize my response within the framework of being able to protect myself legally, I needed to establish cause. So I took out my thing and I videoed him, and he started walking away. So as I'm videoing him walking away, another guy is in the shot, and he's got bags. I don't know. I have it posted. I still have it on my channel. Another guy, he's up a ways, like it'd be north, maybe like 50 feet from me, and he has the surface appearance of being homeless. So he turns when the other guy I'm focusing goes his direction and basically starts to walk past him. The other guy turns like, oh, the way I took it was like, oh shit, he's getting me on camera, so I don't want to be seen. And even I'm commenting still in the video on the guy that I'm focusing on, but then all of a sudden, because I say I work at homeless places. This is what I tell people I know, but I was homeless 5 years in LA. So from 2015 to 2020, September 2015 to March 2020. So when I say home, I lived there. So I'm talking shit about the guy that I see. I'm like, this homeless fucking piece of shit, something like that, you know. And my eye catches this other guy, and I'm like, well, he's homeless. He's got the whole appearance. But then when he's walking, I realize his shoes are brand new. His bags are brand new. His clothes are brand new. And he's got a full beard and long hair, but it's not fucking homeless. Trust the fucking me. This fool is groomed, and his ego didn't let him do the full role. And I caught that motherfucker on camera. So, could be, I don't know. But I've seen homeless people with new shit before because they get paid. But I just gotta say, he fit the description of what I call a Russian hitman. So if I got him on camera, bada bing ya, because I also got a boss of them one time, but that channel got deleted by YouTube. But that doesn't mean the video is gone. Just to point out, YouTube has all my formal videos. So any subpoena to YouTube will get a treasure trove of data on the actual members, because when this first started, their level of aggression was, I was homeless, so they thought I was completely powerless and completely vulnerable. So they had no inhibitions about asserting posturing and asserting a type of dominance in a very outspoken way, that blatant way, that gave me the ability. And see, I was homeless and didn't even have a cell phone. Okay, I had a cell phone, but it was a super cheap phone. It was it was like 2G. Okay, so while I was getting the while I was getting the what happened though, so I got on a train one time, and when I got on the train, there was this like $700 Huawei phone that was brand new, somebody had dropped, and I picked it up, and I was like, it had like my camera had like a 3 megapixel camera, or my phone had a 3 megapixel, that's how cheesy it was. But so I couldn't, video was useless, but this thing had a freaking 14 megapixel camera. So I picked it up, I jailbroke it, and then I started recording, and that caught me that slowed it down, because they weren't ready for that, and I posted everything immediately. So, oh no, my bad. Sorry, I thought you were this guy. So, I don't know who the fuck. Thought this was our delivery guy, but no, it's just some fat Armenian, it looks like, hanging out in the mall. You know, makes a lot of sense. But like I said, the rule of engagement is, anytime you attack your enemy, you leave yourself exposed. So calculate the attack. That's why Caesar and Hannibal and Alexander the Great and Scipio Africanus were so significant, and Napoleon were so significant, because we're able to anticipate, in like a game of chess, their opponent's move in advance and countermeasure. So this is like the best I could do with that is flipping to changing my routes. So in the morning, when I didn't take that little cushion route, what ended up happening is I was doing my video, and I'm walking instead of the side of the movie theater, I'm walking on the side of the In-N-Out. And when I get to the front of the In-N-Out where it curves, where I would have been coming out of that little cage, that little railed walkway on the sidewalk. It's a public sidewalk too, but it just has a rail because it's a curve. The whole street is a curve. So I would where I would have come out of that rail had I done everything that I was doing. And I'm over here yip yapping and I'm talking, and they're cleaning the asphalt and everything with the machines in the In-N-Out. So I glanced at them, and when I glanced at them, I do my video. I just catch out of my periphery, and I look to the side, and there's this fucking disheveled black guy who I wasn't close, but he was all in black. But I have the video, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. But he was just walking in circles in the area that I would have come out with. I don't take him to be a threat. I know he wants to be seen as a threat psychologically, but this is why they act pathetic and pitiful and filthy and dirty, because they rely on pity to gain proximity. Like, you can't fuck with me because look, I'm mentally ill. But my thing is, if you understand 1% of self-preservation, to me is evidence of sanity. I've seen insane people and they don't have self-preservation skills. They have overactive responses to, like, I guess you could say me. Maybe I'm projecting that on but that if they're I seem to have some idea of self-preservation. But I've cracked something. This is how I know. Because if my ramblings aren't relevant and I'm not coming close to something sacred to them, they don't respond. And I like to use the example like of the difference between if you're sitting in a chair and you're in a porch, you're in a patio or something like that, and a roly-poly, the chair, and you look down on the leg of the chair and a roly-poly is walking up the leg of the chair, or a ladybug, what's your reaction? Some people some sinister people, malicious, vile people would flick it, or that flicking it is a roly-poly or a ladybug is pretty freaking evil. But then you have the majority of people would either be like, oh wow, look, it's a ladybug, maybe we'll try to take a picture. But now swap that out for a cockroach. So this is not, a cockroach doesn't actually pose any more of a threat than a ladybug or a roly-poly. It's just the perception. But you get a sense of what's going on in the mind of the person responding to the perceived threat. And if you have just a little bit higher level of comprehension, behavioral comprehension essentially, where you could behavioral literacy, you can deduce what it is that the person associates the perceived threat with in order that makes them respond to it like that. So obviously the person sees a cockroach, they don't think it's going to shoot them. They don't think it's going to burn a hole in them. But they have a perceived sensitivity that reveals a component about their overall, basically they call it something like social muscular, something like that. It's like a persona. But anyways, so that's that.